go back and check if you need to uh, watch again the lecture. And now regarding the topic that we have for today, um, you will notice that well, parang I am repeating some information because we have already covered this somehow, although not completely. Okay, let's start. Check muna natin yung mga attendance natin. So right now we have 13 students. Something like that. Para maano. Eh, paki-screenshot naman. Paki-screenshot yung ating, yung if I'm flashing the presentation plus yung attendees natin for today. And share it in the GC. Okay? So let's start with insects and pests control. So ito yung introduction natin. So this is available also in your book. So why do we need to talk about insects and pests? So because they play an important role in the transmission of disease, and at the same time they can destroy our food, and they may cause discomfort to us human beings. So those are the reasons. So as a public health problem, so we need to address this so that we can lessen the number of cases of diseases and mortality, especially from those vector-borne diseases. So definitions, what are vectors? So a vector is any arthropod. So it can be any arthropod. When we say arthropod, so these are jointed organisms like insects. And what they do is that they carry or the infectious agents in their body. So that allows those organisms to be transferred. Okay, so that's transmission. What about pest? A pest, okay, so that the word pest refers to any organism that can adversely affect our health, cause discomfort, and as we have mentioned in the definition for uh, insects and pests, so they can become a burden, economic burden, okay, to us. So this includes insects like mosquitoes and flies and rodents. But we will talk separately about rodents. So vector-borne diseases, on the other hand, are those diseases where that is caused by vectors. So what are examples of these pests? So mosquitoes is an insect, can cause many different diseases as we have known. Uh, Malaria, dengue, so this is already known to you. Zika, it's a viral disease. Yellow fever, another viral disease. Filarial, worm infection, filariasis or elephantiasis. So as you know, this is a parasite. And West Nile virus. So when you get bitten by mosquitoes, So there is a chance that that mosquito is infected and may transmit those diseases. Then house flies. So even the flies that we see at home, they can carry uh, harmful bacteria. For example, the one that causes typhoid, Salmonella, Vibrio cholera, Shigella, or many other bacteria that can cause diarrhea. Because that's because of the the behavior of these houseflies. So they move a lot. They transfer those organisms because they it's attached to their uh, maybe their limbs, their legs. Fleas. So fleas. Another type of insect. So it's also classified as an insect. So usually they are parasitic in nature because they usually feed on blood. They feed on blood, they may transmit plague or murine typhus, a type of rickettsial infection. So this is rickettsia, and plague is more like a bacterial infection, Yersinia, caused by Yersinia pestis. Lice, another insect. Ito yung kuto, no? So they may transmit again typhus, rickettsial infection, relapsing fever, relapsing fever. Eh, for example, okay, so those are the transmit uh, the gets streptobacillus, streptobacillus, and French fever. French fever. So these are actually we classify this as rat bite fever. Itong dalawa na to, rat bite fever. Excuse me. Then sandflies, which can cause the transmission of leishmania parasite, a blood parasite. Ticks, an arachnid, so they are classified as arachnids. So they are also arthropods. They can transmit Borrelia, which is the causative agent of Lyme disease. Borrelia. Then Rocky Mountain spotted fever is another form of typhus fever. So this is caused by rickettsial infection, and tick-borne encephalitis. So this is um, viral infection. Cockroaches. So just like flies, parang langaw din ito. So cockroaches can carry those pathogens in their legs when they move from place to place. Okay, and they can even trigger asthma, so which is a form of allergy. Then finally we have rodents. Rodents are mammals, so those that are related to rats. So they can carry leptospira, as well, we already know that. And then hantavirus, which is a form of bleeding disorder, just like dengue, and then plague, because they carry the insect, okay, or the flea, the rat flea. Why are they important? So we already noted that they can cause transmission of disease, allergic reactions like cockroaches, food contamination, nuisance, and discomfort, and finally, economically, they can cause so contamination of our food, so that makes the food no longer available, okay, no longer suitable for consumption, and increase healthcare cost. Principles of control of insects and pests. Number one, prevention before control. So prevention before controls. That means we have to focus on the environment, and targeting. We can target the vector of the vector's breeding grounds. So that is prevention before control, before they can cause the disease. Then integrated pest management. So by using many different available techniques like biological methods, environmental and chemical methods to minimize the hazards. Number three, community participation, another method, of course, that is very important because without the participation of the community, we will not be able to control completely the transmission of infections. Then number four, surveillance and monitoring. So by surveillance, so we want to check if the the disease is what being transmitted actively throughout the population. So if there is such a case, so this might cause some form of epidemic. So that is why we need to trace, we have to survey if there is an increase in cases so that we can control it immediately. We can alarm the people who are in charge of uh, monitoring this condition. So what are these methods? We have mentioned them that this is what we call integrated pest management methods, okay, or control. So the first one are the environmental methods. We can also classify them as the physical methods. So by targeting the breeding grounds or the breeding sites of these insects or pests, for example, where do they live? They live or they breed. So by breeding, we mean that they multiply. They multiply in stagnant water, on in refuse heaps. So in short, to yung mga dumps, garbage dumps. Okay? And then improved sanitation and waste disposal. So, for example, if there's a problem in the collection of garbage, so people are just simply dumping their garbage or refuse everywhere, so that will definitely attract the insects and pests. Okay, parang let's try to ask ourselves, bakit ba may daga sa bahay? Bakit ba may mga insects sa bahay? May mga cockroach? That is because there is an available food for them. They will not stay. They will not stay in a place that they cannot access the food. Okay? So hindi sila titira sa bahay niyo kung wala sila nakukuhang pagkain. So that means meron silang access doon sa pagkain. So what do you do? So maybe you can trace saan pa nag-i-stay ito? Kaya baka may maduduming lugar yung halimbawa madidilim, wet and dark places. These are the places that invite these organisms to stay. So kung walang ganyan, sabi sabihin, if we try to clean our house, if there are no available food for them, these insects, these pests will not stay in your house. Then, waste disposal. Baka hindi mo na itatapon yung basura mo properly. Or meron kang basurahan pero wala namang cover. Right? Then, screening and housing improvements. And so, kung hindi makakapasok yung mga organisms, ibig sabihin, we try to check kung may mga maliliit bang mga holes where these pests usually stay. So, pwede natin tapalan, we can seal them. Okay, proper water storage with cover. So, hanapin natin kung walang tubig sa paligid. Okay. So, tapos, syempre, yung mga plants natin, avoid natin yung plants inside the house kasi that's going to invite mosquitoes. And drainage and landfilling in mosquito-prone areas. Kung may makikita tayong mga areas na nagkakaroon ng mga parang potholes, may mga areas na nagkukos ng parang mga mini ponds, so that will cause mosquitoes to stay and breed. So we can fill them up. Then mechanical control. So mechanical, so that means these are something that trap can trap the organisms. For example, light traps, light traps, light. So ano ba? So these insects usually they are attracted to light. So they are attracted to UV light, okay, especially insects. So nakita niyo siguro may mga lamps tayo. We have lamps that are connected to electric power. So when they are, when they are attracted, so they get electrified. Okay. And then sticky traps. So yung mga fly traps natin, like sticky traps. Okay. So however, itong mga sticky traps na to, pwede na siyang mag-cause ng, yung mga, even ano ba, mga non-vectors or even yung mga not so harmful organisms, they can also be trapped by these sticky traps. Fly screens. Fly screens. Then what else? Hand collection. So by removing the larvae or pests directly by your hands. Okay? Mosquitoes, use of mosquito nets and protective clothing. Once upon a time, in 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 China and in other locations, parang yung mga Maya, yung mga sparrows, they were considered pest. They were considered pest. And so nagkaroon yung government ng parang campaign in order to target these sparrows. Bakit sa tinuturing na pest yung mga Maya, mga sparrows? That is, they believe na ito daw mga Maya, itong mga sparrows, they eat yung grains. Kinakain daw nila yung mga grains. So dahil kinakain nila yung grains, baka, economically, nagkakakoko siya ng burden sa may ibang mga communities. So they targeted these sparrows. Ang hindi nila alam, okay, mas nagbe-benefit pala sila sa mga sparrows rather than nagko-cause ng economic burden. Because aside from the grains na kinakain ng mga sparrows, kumakain din sila ng mga insects. Kumakain din sila ng mga insects that can, uh, ano yan, that can cause more damage to their crops. Okay, so yeah, so sana nakita nila yun. Nakita nila. So, because later on, you will realize they made the wrong move. Okay, what else? Mga introduction. Sometimes we are introducing harm to our environment by bringing in mga non-endemic species to our location. Kaya nga bawal tayo basta-basta magdala ng mga iba-ibang mga hayop sa ating coming from other countries, for example, because we might cause some kind of uh, uncontrollable situation. Ano ba mga example niyan? Yung snakehead snakehead na turtle. Okay, naging problem na yan in Pampanga. Ano pa? Yung mga snails. Alam niyo yung African snails? Ano ba tawag natin dyan sa African snail? Yung malalaking suso. Yung kulay brown na may pattern sa kanyang shell. Okay? So they can cause harm to our crops, mga farms. Yan, so yan. What else? Yung introduction ng certain species of fish. Okay? Like catfish. Yan, yung catfish. Ano pa? Maraming ganyan, especially in the United States. So because they don't normally eat this fish, hindi nila kinakain yung fish na yon. So for them, it is a pest, no? So dumami sila and they compete with the local species of fish. So that becomes a competition. Yan. So nakikita niyo, so that is how these organisms can become a nuisance, an economic burden to those different communities. Kaya nagiging peste. So itong pinag-uusapan natin dito, it is not limited to yung the common pest that we consider, no, the common pest that we consider in our community. Okay, let's go back. So the use of mosquito nets and protective clothing. So if you are staying in a place where there is mosquito-borne infections, you might as well use kulambo or mosquito nets. And what else? Protective clothing or even, yeah. So those are considered mechanical control. Hindi natin pinag-uusapan yung iba pang methods because we are limiting it to these methods called mechanical control. Next, biological control. We have mentioned this. So there are fish. There exist certain species of fish that eat mosquito larvae, yung kitikiti. So like Gambusia. Unfortunately, hindi ako nakapaghanap ng picture nitong Gambusia affinis. Okay, then so there are certain bacteria like Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis or BTI, okay, against mosquito larva. By the way, itong Bacillus thuringiensis is also used as ano ba yung tinatawag natin? So, genetically modified, part of a genetically modified organism. Kung nadinig nyo na yung tinatawag natin na BT corn, yung BT. Okay, the BT there stands for Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay? Na bacteria siya. So, minodify na natin yung bacteria, isinama natin doon sa corn. So, now we have a genetically modified corn. So, yung mga boy bawang, mga ganyan, yung mga cornic. So, they are genetically modified. Bakit genetically modified? Because they become immune to, naging immune na sila sa mga disease-causing agents. Hindi na sila tinatablan ng mga, di ba, mga fungal rats, mga rats, di ba, yung ROTS, yung parang may mga sakit yung mga halaman natin, nangingitim sila, namamatay na lang. So, yun. So, they become immune to those kinds of infection. May infection din ng plants. Then, predators and parasites. For example, you should know na may mga insects, like for example, dragonfly larvae, they eat mosquito larvae. Okay? Spiders, so alam naman natin yan. And other, yung parasitoid wasp, okay? So mga, ano ba yung wasp? Putakte, okay? Putakte. So what else? Yung mga ladybugs. So they are competitors. They compete, okay, with other insects. Anyway, so sterile insect technique. So nabanggit ko na ito before by releasing a sterilized male so they can reduce the population. Okay. So that means that they will no longer be able to reproduce. Okay. So the advantages of these biological methods, they are sustainable, they are environmentally friendly, they cannot really cause any harm to our environment, and there is low resistance risk. However, they are slower, okay, and they may require ecological understanding. We have to understand how they work. Kaya ano ba yung relationships that exist? For example, ano ba itong mga fish? What if we release this fish in the environment? Ano kaya pwedeng mangyari dun sa ating environment? Baka merong possible ill effects to our environment. Then chemical control. So by chemicals, we are talking about insecticides. Okay? And that also includes mga repellents. Okay, repellents or repellents. Okay? So examples ito ay contact poisons like DDT, diethyl, okay, DDT. Kaya lang itong DDT, ano to bawal na to ngayon kasi nga parang nag-cause siya ng ano ba, mga parang something na like genetic mutations especially when they gain access to humans. Anyway, pyrethroids, so these are chemicals classified as poisons. Okay, stomach poisons like arsenicals. Yung mga rat poisons, they may contain arsenic, okay? So meron siyang laman na arsenic, yung mga rat poisons. Fumigants. So fumigation, ito yung nagbo-blow tayo ng mga smoke, okay, everywhere. So they contain sulfur dioxide and methyl bromide. Ito yung chemicals yan, no? Then larvicides, we have the following: Temefos and BPI formulations. So how do we apply them? By spraying, okay, residual spraying, what else? Fogging, okay, larvicide, adding larvicides in breeding sites, okay, and use of insecticide treated nets. So yung mga mosquito nets natin at yung mga screens ay treated na pala with mga chemicals. So we need to be cautious because they may actually cause, itong mga chemicals na to, they may actually cause harm also to human beings. So in fact, kapag ikaw spray ka ng baygon, ano pwedeng mangyari sa'yo? Pwede ka magkaroon ng poisoning, no? Magkakaroon ka ng poisoning with organophosphates, okay? So ano pwedeng mangyari sa'yo? Yun nga, mapopoison ka. And so with insecticide poisons. So we need to be cautious about it. So those we should not overuse. And when we do overuse, they might lead to resistance. So kapag paulit-ulit natin ginagamit yung same chemical, yung ating mga mosquitoes, yung ating mga insects, they may become resistant already to those chemicals. Hindi na sila tinatablan. Okay? Protect the non-target species. Baka meron daw tayong mga yung mga non-harmful organisms. Halimbawa sa bahay natin, yung anay, kaya ano ba ginagamit natin? Chemical control for anay. Halimbawa ay solignum, no? Solignum. Pag gumagamit tayo ng solignum, napakalakas na napakalakas na poison yan. So that might, mangyayari. So kung mayroon kayong alaga, mayroon kayong mga pets sa bahay, dapat, during the time of treatment, hindi mo sila, dapat lalayo mo siya sa bahay mo, okay? So because they might also be affected. And you will not be staying in your house for at least 24 hours after treatment, after spraying. Then we have letter E, the last one here, is genetic control. So nabanggit na natin yung release of sterile male species. Okay. Then gene drive technology. So this is something experimental. That is, we spread genes that can reduce the ability of the vector to transmit the disease or even the fertility. Integrated vector management. So this is endorsed by the World Health Organization. So it includes the following components: evidence-based decision making. So dapat daw research, gagamit tayo ng research bago tayo mag-come up with decisions on how to control our problems. Integrated use of multiple control strategies. So hindi lang daw isang klase, but we have to make use of different combinations. Halimbawa, nag-mechanical ka na, nag-chemical ka pa. Okay? Number 3, collaboration among the different sectors. Siyempre, multi-sectoral participation. Nabanggit na natin yan before when we talk about community projects. Okay? Engagement and education. So we have to talk. Kailangan nag-uusap tayo. Nag-uusapan natin yan sa ating community. And we have to provide information to people. Bakit ba natin ginagawa yan? Ano ba pwedeng mangyari? Okay? May mga information campaign tayo. Then, capacity building and policy support. So, naghahanap tayo ng mga individuals who can be trained. Kung halimbawa, wala tayong capability. Ang yun ang ibig sabihin ng capacity or capability building. Sa community mo, walang. Parang kami, no, bakit ako napunta sa Africa? Kasi initially yung mga tao doon, kulang sila ng mga professionals. So anong ginawa nila? Naghanap sila ng mga international professionals Tapos kami yung nag-train sa kanila. And then once we have already trained them, so meron na silang they have their own professionals. So yan, parang kayo din, we are training you to become medical technologist. That's capacity building. And also, in this case, public health workers. We are training people to become public health workers. The role of you, public health workers. Kasama ba tayo dun? Yes, pwede tayong kasama sa mga public health workers. Number one, to conduct vector surveillance and mapping. So, nag-identify tayo, kaya tayo nagsa-survey. Ano po ba ang mga nandito sa mga lugar nyo? Meron po ba mga kayo nakikita mga daga? May nakikita po ba kayong mga, so mga, parang may namiss ako dito. Yung mga predators, no? Halimbawa ng predators pala. Mamaya, mga pusa, okay? Pusa, meron kayong rodents. So, anong pwede mo gawin sa mga rodents? Pwede kayong mag-alaga ng pusa, di ba? So, mga ganun. Anyway, so next, educate the communities. Okay? And then monitor the insecticide resistance. Baka mamaya insect spray tayo ng spray, hindi na pala, wala na palang epekto. Then collaborate with local authorities for sanitation and environmental management. So dapat hindi lang yung, kasi this is initiated by the, let's say the DOH. So may mga project ang DOH. Pero, dapat nagko-collaborate din sila with with the barangay and participate in outbreak control activities. So, pwede na magkaroon ng outbreak. As we have mentioned, kaya tayo nagko-conduct ng surveillance and, ng parang tracing of infections or infestation. Emerging challenges. Ano ba yung mga problem natin na pwede na nakikita because of this? Number one, resistance, okay, to the insecticides, mga chemical insecticides. Number two, climate change. Okay, so because of climate change, nagbabago na naghahanap ng mga suitable environment, yung mga vectors. Okay, so napupunta sila saan? Napupunta sila sa mga lugar na may mga tao. Naghanap sila ng kung saan sila pwedeng mag-survive. Urbanization and poor sanitation. So, syempre, kapag dumalami yung mga population natin, okay, so that leads to urbanization. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng urbanization, nagiging mas progressive sana to, in a way, progressive yung ating mga communities. However, with progress, there are other associated problems. So, katulad yan, tumataas yung demand for resources, tumataas yung demand for, ano pa, yung mga availability of, hindi mga resources, facilities. Okay? Halimbawa, dumami yung tao, naging urbanized, dumami yung kalat. Pag dumami yung kalat, kailangan natin additional, say, services. Yeah, so, pag hindi na i-provide ng community yung services na yan, ano mangyayari? That will lead to more problems. Then number 4 is limited public participation in the control programs. So, hindi lahat ay actively nagpa-participate dun sa mga control programs. So, those are the methods. Anyway, let's go to rodent control. So, pag sinabi natin yung rodents, we are talking about rats. Okay? Although may meron pa mga ibang rodents, no? Okay? Ano pa? Di ba, yung mga raccoons, squirrels, those are considered as rodents. Ano ba ang significance ng mga rodents? So, they destroy the property. Diba, gumagawa yan, nagkikreate yan ng mga butas-butas sa mga wooden natin, furniture or doors or wall. So, they can also contaminate our food. Doon sila umiihi, doon sila tumatae. And so, they can also serve as reservoir, okay, and vector. Sa pag-reservoir, nakatira sa kanila yung mga organisms, yung mga rat flea. Okay? So, they themselves are not affected. but they can transmit the organism. Okay, for many zoonotic diseases. So pag sinabing zoonotic diseases, these are animal-borne diseases. Okay, they may also cause rat bite fever. Di ba nabanggit ko na nga? So yung Streptobacillus moniliformis. Okay, and may isa pa, dalawa yung rat bite fever. French fever. So definition, they are small to medium-sized mammals that is characterized by a pair of incisors in each jaw. Meron daw silang parang two big front teeth dun sa kanilang harapan, okay, sa jaw, in the jaw, in the upper and the lower jaw. So ano yung mga daga na yan? So these are the most common. Okay, the house rat or the roof rat, because the scientific name is Ratus ratus. So they are found in the roofs, in the attics, in ships. So diyan sila nakatira. Norway rat, okay, or the sewer rat. Ito yung mga nakita natin sa mga kanal, no? Ratus norvegicus. So they burrow they are found in the sewers, okay, and in damp basements. And then we have the house mouse. So mas maliit ito usually. So that's Mus musculus. So they are found indoors in small spaces and they multiply rapidly. Then we have the field rodent. Ito yung dagang bukid. So they may be found, of course, in farms, okay, and semi-urban areas. Rodents are hazardous to health. Okay, they can be a problem to our food security and in our infrastructure. So what are the diseases that can be transmitted by these rats? So plague, as I mentioned earlier, plague. Plague is caused by Yersinia pestis. So this is a bacteria. So you may get this from the bites of infected fleas, rat fleas. Di ba nabanggit ko na si rat flea before, Xenophilia chaopis. Okay, Leptospira. Leptospira, this is something that you have heard time and time again. So this is something that you get from, water that is contaminated with rat urine. Okay, typically. Then urine typhus caused by rickettsia. Mga typhus, parang yung mga mga tick-borne or lice-borne or mga arthropod-borne infection. For example, flea. Hantavirus. So hantavirus, this is caused by inhalation of aerosolized rodent excreta. Yung dumi ng daga. Kayo ba makakapag-identify ba kayo ng dumi ng daga? Because that is one way to prove na meron palang daga sa bahay nyo. May nakita kang mga dumi-dumi. You may not see them physically. Pero nakakita ka ng mga dumi. Ano malalaman mo? Based doon sa size ng dumi, kung anong klase ng daga meron sa bahay mo. Kaya dapat magtumingin-tingin din kayo ng picture sa internet. Ano ba itsura ng tae ng daga? Okay, baka mamaya meron palang may tae na pala ng daga, hindi mo alam na yun pala yun. Okay? So they are usually long. Nakakita kayo ng tae ng butiki, tae ng butiki parang exclamation mark. Merong white na bilog, tapos merong pahaba. So sa daga naman, pahaba lang. So yung maliliit, that is from musculus. Yung isa naman, yung mga bigger, sa pamratos yun, okay? Then, so ito pala, Streptobacillus moniliformis, okay? Rat bite fever, Spirillum minus. Okay, so ito, rodent bites. Pag kinagat ka ng daga, pwede kang magkaroon itong rat bite fever. Economic and environmental impact. So, by contaminating your food and water with urine droppings, so that will become unsuitable for consumption. Damage to stored grains, so ganun din, no? Similarly, so they may no longer be available for human consumption. So they may also affect the wiring. Di ba ginangat-ngat nila yung mga wires? So ano yun, magiging fire hazard yun. Yung mga crops natin, pagkain, infrastructure, baka humihina yung foundation because of or yung mga structure hindi na pala siya stable because of yun nga yung mga ngat-ngat na mga daga. So fire hazards, reproductive potential, leading to large infestation. So, pwedeng dumami. Nung dumating ako dito sa bahay, napakadaming daga. So, I have decided to have a cat. And that was really a good move. Kasi nga, parang nawala yung mga daga. So, they have, parang naano sila, takot sila sa pusa. Okay? So, that's a good thing. No? Mag-alaga kayo ng pusa. If you find, because they are natural predators, biology and behavior that may be relevant. Okay, so, for example, reproduction, they are very fertile. A pair, kapag nakakita ka ng isang daga, ay matakot ka na kasi nga, dadami yan. Okay? Feeding habits, they feed on everything. Di ba ano ka rin daga na kumakain ng sabon? Kumakain ng sabon, kung ano pa pinagkakakain nila. Pag wala sila makain, kung pati yung mga papel nyo, ginangat-ngat, di ba? Mga papel, mga damit, kinakain nila, omnivore sila. Movement. So they climb. They are good climbers. They are good swimmers. They can, they burrow. They are good burrowers. Because kung magawa sila mga butas. So they are most active at night. And how do you know if they are rat? Sabi ko nga, droppings. Ito yung dumi nila. No or no marks, yung mga ngat-ngat nila. Pag nakakita ka ng mga ngat-ngat, mga sira-sirang papel, may daga. Burrows, mga butas, runways, and odor. So, syempre yung amoy. Kaamoy na ba kayo ng amoy ihi ng daga? Okay, but then again, di ba sabi natin, yung aerosol nung taing ng daga, pwedeng mag-transmit ng hantavirus. So, be careful. Okay? So, magmamask kayo kung maglilinis kayo ng bahay and knowing na meron palang mga daga, magmamask, use PPE. Okay, now, principles of rodent control, environmental management. So, by removing available, mga available source of food and water and shelter for the rats. Okay? Ang napansin ko dito sa bahay, nag-stay sila sa mga cabinets, no? So, what I did, tinanggal ko yung mga cover ng mga cabinets because that just provides them with shelter. Okay? Doon sila nag-i-stay. Exclusion. So, prevent rodents from entering the buildings. Okay? Yeah. So, ano pwede mong gawin? So, mag-search ka sa internet, ano mga possible ways to rat-proof. Meron tayong tinatawag na rat-proofing the building. Okay? Population reduction. So, by doing mechanical, biological, and chemical methods. And so, then community participation, syempre. So this is something that should be coordinated to everybody in the community. Surveillance. Environmental methods. So elimination of food sources, removal of harborage, kasi saan ba sila nag-i-stay? O di linisin mo, hindi sila mag-i-stay doon. Improve waste management, regular collection, and disposal of refuse. Siyempre, dapat tinatapon mo yung kalat mo linggo-linggo or depending on how many times your garbage collector, collect the garbage. Ewan ko, sa amin kasi weekly. So, water management, so fix the leaks and remove the standing water and rodent proofing or rat proofing the building. So, sealing the gaps. Wala dapat mga space. Alam nyo ba, itong daga, kahit naman 1 inch lang, na butas, magkakasya sila dyan. Kaya, kasi nga, yung kanilang skull is movable. Okay? Movable yung skull nila. So, kaya nila mag-fit doon sa mga liliit na mga spaces. Kaya, pag kilala mo ang daga, you know how to deal with them. Ano pa? Kahit daw na 12 feet ang height na laglagan daga, pagbagsak niya, buhay pa din niya. Okay? So kaya yun yung mga pinag-aaralan ng mga public health workers, those who are going to deal with these problems. Okay. So mechanical control, so we use traps, like snap traps. Siguro nakakita na kayo ng mga rat traps, no? Glue boards. So ito naman, mga parang sticky paper din ito, pero makakapal. cages, cage traps, ano yung snap traps? Nakakita ko diyan, parang plastic na ngayon, ano? Plastic yung material. Okay, and then barriers. We can also use barriers like metal sheets, rodent guards on pipes, and closed doors. Kung nakakita na kayo ng mga parang tubo, no? Yung magamit tayo ng mga PVC na tubes para hindi lang natin yung ano, halimbawa yung mga electrical wirings. Anyway, so these traps and barriers, uh, they are non-toxic, so they are safe in short. However, they are labor intensive. Ano gagawin mo kapag madami pala? So this is unsuitable for large population. Siguro kung may isang daga, dalawang daga, matatrap mo, okay na. Pero kung napakadami, that will be, they're very difficult. Okay, biological controls, ito pala yung sinasabi ko. Kasi I saw this earlier, okay? So we have biological controls, predators, like cats or dogs. Takot sila dyan. Snakes, pwede ka din mag-alaga ng snakes. Okay, and then owls. Yeah, I do not know. Ito yung mga natural predators. So the existence of these natural predators can limit these rodents. Okay, disease-based control by using Salmonella enteritidis, variant of Danis. Okay, ginamit daw ito in order to control rats. So namamatay pala sila dito. Salmonella infection. Meron din silang sakit. Okay, so advantage, okay, however, siya, limited na yung gamit niya. So advantages of these methods, itong mga biological methods, they are friendly to our environment. Okay, however, they are unpredictable, they are slow, and limited to the rural settings. So hindi ito pwedeng i-apply sa urban communities. Then we have chemical controls. Okay, mga lason, mga rodenticides. Okay, maraming klase ng rodenticides like acute rodenticide single dose. So like zinc phosphide. Minsan, nakakita na ako nito yung parang mga powder, black powder, zinc phosphide yan. Okay, makikita nyo. Okay. Binibenta kung saan-saan sa mga bangketa. Sodium fluoroacetate, I have not seen this one. But yeah, so there may be some variants of these single dose rodenticides. So they are very fatal to these rats. Okay, so kaya lang, syempre kailangan tayo ay magiging cautious when you're using this. So they are dangerous to the non-target species. Baka kainin mo, ang kumain yan yung pusa mo. Okay, so pre-baiting is very important. Ano ibig sabihin ng pre-baiting? Ibig sabihin, pag nagbe-bait ka, ina-identify mo na kung saan siya usually nag-i-stay, saan siya dumadaan. So doon mo ilalagay yung mga baits mo. Tingnan mo, umpisa, lagyan mo muna ng mga kanin. So, kakainin niya yan. Tapos susunod, lalagyan mo na yung kanin ng mga lason. Okay, number 2 is chronic. Okay, chronic or yung multi-dose rodenticides. Example nito yung warfarin. Okay, kilala niyo na yung warfarin, warfarin or coumarin. So bromadiolone, prodifacom, difenacom. Anyway, puro yung mga anticoagulants. So anong ginagawa niyan? They cause hindi blood clotting, kundi bleeding, nagbi-bleed to death nagkakaroon ng internal bleeding, prevent blood clotting. So kapag kumain sila nitong mga laso na may lamang anticoagulant, magbi-bleed to death sila. Okay? So they are safe for humans and for pets. Okay? Kasi nga, hindi naman to kinakain ng mga ibang organisms. So disadvantages, resistance can develop in some species. Yung warfarin, tinatawag na coumarin yan, kamag-anak yan ni aspirin, kamag-anak ni heparin. Okay? Baiting techniques. So, place the baits along the runways kung saan siya nag-stay o dumadaan. Okay, and burrows. Kung saan mo nakita yung mga butas, doon mo ilalagay yung baits. Pre-bait with non-poison food. Katulad nga, lagyan mo ng kanin, lagyan mo ng pagkain. Then, next time, lagyan mo na ng laso. Okay, maintain bait stations and replace the spoiled bait regularly. Eh, by the way, nag-alaga pala pinsan ko dati ng, yan, ng ibon. So, syempre, meron siyang mga feeds, no? So, yung mga feeds, pwede din siya mag-invite ng mga rodents kasi pagkain yun. So, ayan. So, dapat tinatabi niya properly din yung mga feeds. Okay, fumigation. Pwede din ang fumigation. They can also work against mga rodents. So, they may contain methyl bromide or aluminum phosphide. Okay, so, yan yung ano. So, kaya lang, syempre, kapag ito ang ginagamit natin, be careful. Be careful. This requires trained people, trained personnel, okay, and strict safety protocols. Kaya hindi tayo lahat nagpo-fumigate. Eh, di ba? May mga tao lang na gumagawa niyan. Okay, then integrated rodent management. Ano yung mga components? Di ba sabi ni WHO. So, number 1, environmental sanitation by reducing the source. Tanggalin mo yung available food nila. Exclusion measures, rodent proofing, nabanggit na natin. Population control, the combination of mechanical, chemical, and biological methods with monitoring evaluation of the trends. Kaya tingnan natin what works. Diba sabi ng evidence-based practice? Kay community participation. So, naulit lang naman yan. Kaya lang, syempre, kanina ang binabanggit natin ay insects and pest control. Surveillance and evaluation. So, dropping. Okay, indicators of infestation. Paano mo malaman? So, dropping counts. Tingnan mo, mabawasan na ba yung daga? Okay, then with no marks, yung ngat-ngat. Visual sightings and bait take rate. Mapping by identifying high-risk areas like markets, sewers, and food depots. Post-control evaluation, compare before and after the intervention. Okay, so to check kung effective ba yung ating technique. Safety and precautions, store rodenticides safely away from children and food. And so use gloves and protective gears and during handling, dispose of dead rodents by burying them or by incineration. Avoid contamination of water sources and maintain records of bait placement. So alam niyo kung saan niyo nilagay yung mga lason, ano? Kung naubos ba, nabawasan ba? Number 10, community role in the control of rodents. So proper waste disposal and sanitation practices, which is practiced by the community, participation in cleanup campaigns. Yes, that is another thing. Reporting infestations, so ma-identify natin ang daming dagat sa isang lugar na yon, and education. Emerging challenges, what are the possible challenges that we might encounter in the future? So this resistance to anticoagulants, so resistance, just like drug resistance, no? That means that they become immune to this method. Urbanization and poor waste management, I mentioned this earlier. Climate change, so nagkakaroon siya ng redistribution, so they are now looking for places where they can survive. And finally, we have limited community engagement in control efforts. So we have to encourage people to join in targeting these insects and pests, not just rodents, by eliminating them as a community. So this is communal effort. Hindi lang pwedeng isang tao ang gumawa nito. Okay? O isang group, just the DOH, just that. Kailangan ng participation. We need participation from everyone in the community so that this will work. Okay? Parang yung vaccination. Vaccination during COVID. Kung isa lang ang nagpa-vaccine, o hindi lahat ay nagpa-participate sa vaccination, so that will definitely not be effective. Okay? Oh, by the way, I just recently attended the last week, no? Last week nga ba? Tama. So last week, we have attended the PASMET National Convention here in MCU. Kaya nga nawala ng pasok yung iba. And one of the topics that was presented was about infodemics. Yan, infodemics. Ito yung magiging assignment nyo, no? Infodemics. So mag-search kayo. Please take note. Search for information about this infodemic. So ano ba yung pag sinabi ko information? Siyempre, sasagutin mo what it is. Kung meron ba siya mga classification. Ano-ano ba yan? Kaya ano-ano yung mga klase ng info. At ano yung effect ng infodemics? Okay? Yan yung basic na kailangan nating malaman about infodemics. So, infodemics. Okay? So, this is something that, that affects us right now. Okay? Kaya, please look for this. Okay, you will be submitting that next meeting. Next meeting pa naman. So, you have time to search for information about infodemics. Okay? So, it can be typewritten, it can be handwritten for submission on Monday. Okay, okay lang? I know meron kayong gagawin, during the weekend, but you have a lot of days to work on it. Okay? So, kung gusto niyo mamaya, mag-start na kayo. Wala, kung hindi naman kayo magta-travel pa soon. So, just start doing that assignment. Okay? And, ano pa, have a holy, ayan, holy ba? Okay, so it's not really a celebration. It's not really something holy, but, this is the time for you to be with your family, to, to commemorate your loved ones. Okay, this coming weekend. So, I hope that you have a safe stay with your mga kung saan man kayo mag-stay. Right? So, yun lang. May nagte-take ba ng mga screenshots? So, I hope someone is taking some screenshots. Paki-share na lang sa ating GC. Paki-screenshot yung ating mga individuals who are present. The members who are here, the members of the class who are here. And also yung ating presentation. Okay, yung screenshot. Okay. All right. So, may question ba before I dismiss the class? So, clear ba yung ating instruction? Anong gagawin? Ano yung gagawin natin? Meron kayong i-research. Ano yung i-research natin? Infodemic. Infodemic. So, parang bagong word yan. It's a new word. Infodemic. So, look for it. So, I hope you will have some realizations when you see this topic. So, kung walang tanong, okay, I have no questions as well. I have nothing to add. So, with that, let us end this session. Hopefully, you learned something. Okay, meron kayong mga takeaways, meron kayong something that you can think of, something that you can apply in your own home or in your community. Thank you for attending and see you next meeting. Goodbye, class.